first phase of voting in the assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir has concluded. A 23 lakh strong electorate across 24 constituencies has decided the fate of 219 candidates that are in the fray. Well, it is a historic moment as assembly polls are taking place in the Union Territory after a decade. In the interim, several crucial decisions by the centre have impacted the lives of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, it has been 5 years since the abrogation of Article 370, and today's Jammu and Kashmir is a testament to the power of transformation. We have seen a remarkable increase in the voter turnout, which stands at 58.19% in the first phase alone. Assembly constituency, the Inderwal Assembly constituency has recorded the highest voter turnout at 80.66%, while Tral has witnessed the lowest at 40.58%. Well, we'll talk about this, but first up, I'm going to go across to my colleague Pia, who's going to take us through the voter turnout numbers for phase 1 in Jammu and Kashmir. Pia, over to you.
Indeed, Vineet, the numbers have come out and this is data till 5 o'clock. The overall voter turnout stands at 58.19%. In speaker of constituencies in Anantnag, it is 41.58%. This is of course much better than that in 2014 in Doda. The voter turnout stands at 69.33%, quite 10% less than 2014 in Kishtwar. It stands at 77.23%. This is of course data till 5 p.m. in Kulgam. It stands at 59.62%. These are of course the statistics that have been put out by the Election Commission in Pulwama. 43.87% of the electorate has come out to cast its mandate and elect its representatives in Pampore. About 44.78% of the people have come out to ink their finger this morning. In Ramban, the voter turnout stands at 67.71%. These are of course again statistics till 5 p.m. this evening. Shopian of course has witnessed about 53.64% of its electorate coming out and casting its vote. In Srigufwara, Bijbehara, where Iltija Mufti is contesting, 56.02% of the voters have come out and inked their finger. Meanwhile, the voter turnout in the Duru constituency stands at 57.90. Once again, let's also take a look at some other constituencies, specifically Tral. Now, this has recorded the lowest voter turnout at 40.58% out of all of the constituencies that have gone to polls today in the first phase. In Banihal, the voter turnout recorded till 5 o'clock is 68%, 5% less than what was recorded in 2014. In Devsar, the voter turnout in 2024 stands at 54.73%. Once again, polls are taking place in J&K after a whole decade. Of course, a very, very historic moment in Kokarnag. 58% is the voter turnout till 5 o'clock. In Rajpura, the recorded statistic is 45.78% till 5 o'clock this evening itself. In Pahalgam, the voter turnout is at 67.86%, just 2% short of what was recorded in 2014 itself. Of course, a bright picture is being painted by the statistics that we are seeing on our screens at the moment. The voter turnout in Shankus Anantnag East constituency stands at 52.94%. This is of course testament to the people coming out and inking their finger, their confidence in India's democracy. In Inderwal, that has recorded the highest voter turnout in the first phase of the polls. It stands at 80.06%. Once again, testament to the transformation that has taken place in Jammu and Kashmir. And here's another graph that we've prepared to showcase to our viewers, provide a little more perspective to them as to what exactly has the voter turnout been in Jammu and Kashmir since assembly elections commenced all the way back in 1962. 40.3% of the electorate had come out to cast its mandate. Then in 1967, the number jumped to 58.8%, further jumped in 1972 to 62.1%, and continuing the increasing trend till 1983, where the voter turnout stood at 74.9%. But then, of course, there was a sharp decline that had taken place, and the voter turnout then dipped to around 43.70 in, of course, 2002. But since then, we've seen an increasing trend once again take place. Several crucial decisions have taken place since 2014. 2014, of course, recorded 65.91% voter turnout. We've seen the abrogation of Article 370 taking place in 2019 itself. But the people of Jammu Kashmir have reiterated once again their confidence in the democratic process, in the electoral process, by exercising their franchisee. Back to you, Vineet.
All right, Pia. Thank you for that extremely intelligent explanation. We'll in fact get on with our conversation with our guests who are joining us now. Mr. Alok Mehta, Editorial Director of India News, with us on the program. Joyita Basu, Editor of Sunday Guardian, with us in the studio as well. Raja Munib, Senior Journalist, joins us on the program as well. Sunita Vakil, Senior Journalist, also with us on the program. Mr. Mehta, I'll begin with you. Well, you know, like they say, a lot of water has gone under the bridge, but when you look at Jammu and Kashmir and you compare, you know, what has changed in the last 10 years and what has changed in the last 5 years, specifically after the abrogation of Article 370, what would you categorize as the biggest achievement here?
We need first, this is a message for the world, United Nations also, that how democracy is strong nowadays. And now in India, Jammu Kashmir, where the terrorists were so much attacking every time, this is the first time after long years, I think now 10 years, but if you remember from 77, 82, 87, those days, I have seen those days, and that's why I can tell you, this is the historical moment for India, and it gives a message that how the India counter this terrorism. And now where 8,000 terrorists were there, the army sources told at the time 10 years back. Now they say less than 100, and that's why I think the peaceful, this is a remarkable 60-70% voting in Jammu and Kashmir. It gives a message that the people want to vote, they don't want, and especially a message for the Pakistan and the other countries who just look how we are fighting with the terrorism. And that's why this is a people's mandate for a number of parties. National Conference is Sheikh Abdullah, what she had, the alliance with the Congress party, merger with the Congress party, then again emerges the National Conference. Now they also joined the Congress party. This shows, but even then, the Rashid engineer, his party also now in the fray. That's why the person who was in the jail but came out as on bail, and even then we allowed, this is the democratic state. If you accept the constitution, you accept the democracy, then you are also part of the democratic system with the India. That's why I think this is a historical moment for Indian elections and for the world, that India is showing that how our people are thinking for democratic rights. Any party can come, BJP, Congress, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, what they did in last 10 years. This is the remarkable, because after 370, now it's a 5 years election, what the other states also do. And the same thing, Haryana is also going to poll. This shows that in 3 phases, and I think it's a beginning is very good. I hope that in the next 2 phase also, it will be remarkable and it will give a message to the world.
Right. Joyita, 1 phase is over. Mr. Mehta says that this is not only a message to India, it's a message to the world, a world that was unnecessarily concerned about the preservation of democracy in Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, actually, if you're looking at it from an overall point of view, this is all part of the mainstreaming of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly the Kashmir Valley. So, you see, I mean, look at it this way. At one point of time, the valley was marking its days according to the Hartal calendar issued by Gilani and the Hurriyats. Where are they now? After Syed Ali Shah Gilani's death, the Hurriyat is not there anymore. I mean, they do not have a second-rung leadership. That leadership has not come up. Hurriyat has slid into the background. There are no boycott calls happening. There are no threats that are happening. Of course, it is not just because of the disappearance of the Hurriyat, but there are several other reasons. In fact, I would say even the LG's administration being there has helped a lot. And of course, Article 370, the mainstreaming process that started after on August 5, 2019, that has continued to this day. think of what Srinagar's Lal Chowk used to be and what Srinagar's Lal Chowk is now. I mean, think of the number of tourists who are going to Kashmir in particular. Think of, you know, I mean, when I went to Jammu Kashmir sometime, I think that was in 2014, just before the elections. At that time, I was told Srinagar city had just got traffic signals. I saw, you know, 6 p.m., the whole of the city would just vanish behind the doors. There was nobody outside. It was like a dead city. Now, first of all, there was the fear of terrorists roaming the streets. And then, of course, there was nothing to do. Nothing to do. It was all dark, dead. So the thing is, you see, what happened after that? From there, Srinagar has taken a 180-degree turn. I mean, that itself is a huge transformation. I think most important thing that has happened, I'm not saying it's fully successful, it has just started happening. Two things I would say. Number one, people have started realizing that these political families of Jammu Kashmir, particularly PDP and National Conference, these two parties have done nothing for them. So what we are witnessing is some kind of a change in the complexion of the political scene in Kashmir in particular, in that smaller parties are coming up who have got, you know, and the other thing is, I would say what Kashmir is witnessing is the birth of aspiration. It was a place that had, I mean, they did not have any, it was a hopeless place, you know, they had lost all hope. And I would see it as, you know, that is what, I mean, we are reading it as birth of aspiration. Now, whether these smaller parties, that I believe that a lot of voting will be happening maybe for these smaller parties, you know, with local aspirations and all. Whether they are able to live up to the expectations of the people, we do not know. But the thing is that the expectation is shifting, you know, from who they can actually meet their expectations. I think that focus is shifting from the older parties which have been there for a long time to these smaller parties and these newer parties.
That's a good point. That's a valid point. Sunita Vakil, do you think that Joyita is right, that the focus is shifting, the expectations are shifting, and people have finally begun to realize that these older parties, these traditional family parties have lost the plot, they have lost the faith, and they have lost the trust as well, and it's perhaps, you know, obviously time for a new Kashmir by new Kashmiris.
You don't understand.
Yeah, we have seen the completion of the first phase of polling without any incident and very peacefully. Before abrogation of Article 370, only some people used to cast their votes, but now common man is coming out to vote in large numbers. So what used to happen after earlier, after casting of a small percentage of votes, there would be an outbreak of stone pelting protests by separatists, forcing people to remain indoors. So and high court calls were given. But now those very separatist leaders are in the fray. So a lot has changed on the ground. People are now hoping for a change and also relief. They are voting for peace, progress, and economic growth. J&K has undergone a sea change. People want to get their voices heard through democracy. They have rejected separatism, bombs, grenades, and bullets. They have chosen the mode of expression of ballot papers now. Mood of people has changed after abrogation of Article 370. It seems that Modi ji's slogan of Naya J&K has become successful now. So each single vote has the power to brighten the future, and they are understanding this, and they are understanding that if they vote sensibly, it will bring about an era of peace, stability, progress, and economic empowerment. People want a government which is committed to youth, employment, empowerment of women, and which ends separatism.
All right, okay, great points. Raja Munib, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, you know, endorsed the idea of a new Jammu and Kashmir. Mr. Munib, can you hear me? Mr. Munib, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you go ahead with your question again, please?
All right, I can hear somebody else also in the background. I'm not sure who it is. Mr. Munib, the people of Jammu and Kashmir definitely, like Sunita Vakil said, endorsed the idea of a new Jammu and Kashmir, which has been, of course, proposed by the Prime Minister, and the government has worked on it as well. You know, but the irony is that despite the Bharatiya Janata Party's efforts in Jammu and Kashmir, they may not be voted into power in Jammu and Kashmir.
True, when we talk about they might be not voted into power in Jammu and Kashmir, it's primarily the valley where BJP has a perception issue and an image issue, right? And it largely has to do with the polarization politics which has been played by the opposition parties in Jammu and Kashmir. And not only that, nationally as well, we are seeing Congress playing polarization politics in the country. And that perception which has been created in the mind is that, BJP is largely a anti-Muslim party, and it's a very pro-Hindutva party, and they want to curb the constitutional rights of the Muslims. So with that kind of an image, it has been tough for the BJP to convince the voters on the ground in the valley. In Jammu region, BJP is going to fight the elections and might emerge as one of the largest parties winning from that region. That's what the estimates are for now. But it is the valley primarily where the problem is, and it's the valley where BJP will really have to work on its image vis-a-vis people to come out of that perception of being an anti-Muslim party. That where the problem majorly lies in the valley.
Mr. Mehta, how do you respond to this notion that the Bharatiya Janata Party has it's invoked this feeling of progress in Jammu and Kashmir? People want roads, people want, systematic traffic clearance systems, but at the same time, they will not vote for the Bharatiya Janata Party that's made it all this possible.
Very certainly, this is not the election for a one party. BJP is ruling, and BJP also believe in the democracy. So maybe in Jammu Kashmir, both, because why you only think about the Kashmir Valley? When we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, from Vaishno Devi to Srinagar or Pahalgam or Gulmarg, people are going. 1 crore tourists are also reaching there. So this is not the question of the BJP coming in power. Last time also they have alliance with the PDP. But you know what happened with the PDP? When Dr. Manmohan Singh was in the government, I was also the member of the National Integration Council, and I have seen Mahbooba Mufti was also speaking like what the Abdullahs used to talk about the pro-Pakistan and terrorist organizations also talk about this. So these kind of people, if they are there, so it's not a question of the BJP. They can have a number of people. You see, what BJP, the government of India, what they did in the Valley and in the Jammu area, fighting with the terrorism through military forces, police, Jammu and Kashmir police also. You see, I have seen the changes, the Panchayat election, DCC elections, district development councils. They also worked very hard, and that's why the involvement of the people from Panchayat level to for MLA, for Lok Sabha elections also, even Rashid engineer, he won the elections. That's why this is not a question of the BJP. That's why I feel that it's a beginning. You see, for the BJP in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, if they have not voted so much, then you say it's a Hindu-Muslim. The problem is people think about the Hindu-Muslim or communal way. I think for the nation, when we talk about the democracy, the development, Jammu and Kashmir, investment is also coming. When the tourists reach there, you see the 5-star hotels where it was difficult to get the one room at the time in the tourist season. So one can imagine the people were happy, people want progress, but certainly for road, for education, for health, for employment, demand is there everywhere. In Jharkhand, or in Maharashtra, or in Gujarat, or Tamil Nadu, or even if you go to London or New York, people are also talking about the employment. Here we talk about the basic necessities. And because Jammu and Kashmir was suffering a lot because of the communal, otherwise the minorities, either Hindu there in the Jammu area or in the Srinagar or Kashmir area, now they want to work together, want to live. This is the message of this election. That's why when we in media or in the political parties, if they talk about only one party, what they achieved, I think even the problem was because of the National Conference, the corruption charges. So, sorry to say, there are records by the CBI Enforcement Directorate that how 106 crores rupees bungling in the name of the cricket 45 crores are already in the records. So it will go to the court. It will take them some time. So nobody is in jail from the Abdullah family. That's why I'm saying, even the Farooq Abdullah, he was also responsible when he was chief minister. I've seen those days when Jagmohan was the governor and afterwards what happened in the Jammu and Kashmir. So situation is normal. People are feeling happy, and that's why the vote percentages shows there is not for one party, independent. Even Jamaat is also. Jamaat always boycotting, even attacking people. And this time Jamaat is also participating in the election. PDP, Congress. Congress is also there. Why don't you talk about why Congress? Why they have alliance with the Abdullah family when Mrs. Gandhi and Nehru himself, they jailed the family member Sheikh Abdullah. And what Farooq Abdullah is doing for the society?
All right,
all
sir.
the time, most of the property out of the country.
All right, sir. So we've run out of time, Choita. Just reflect on what Mr. Mehta said, that this is not only about a single party. It's about the new Kashmir and the new Jammu and Kashmir, which even the BJP understands.
Yes, of course, because you see, one of the things that we have to, when you are looking at the election results, what's going to happen is, you see, there is reason to believe that the BJP is not going to get much support in the valley. But and yes, of course, at the same time, it seems that the BJP has a very strong edge in Jammu region in particular, except for certain certain seats bordering the Kashmir valley. So you see, it is not about it. Is why should it be about BJP only? But yes, there is a possibility that the BJP may emerge as the largest party in the election. Now, what happens after that? Because you see, all that talk about Omar's party becoming the single largest party in Jammu and Kashmir may not materialize, primarily because, as I said, you know, these smaller parties have come up and the vote might get divided. The vote might go to these smaller parties. Say, for example, Engineer Rashid's party, Baramulla seat, it has got 18 Baramulla Lok Sabha constituency. It has got 18 assembly segments, out of which Rashid's party, AIP, had a lead in on 14 seats. Now, if he manages to win those 14 seats, where will National Conference's majority come from? So you see, Jammu and Kashmir's politics is, I would say, is continuing in the, is emerging in the glorious tradition of Indian politics, where the politicians do not have a say. It is ultimately the voters who will have a say about who is going to win and who is going to lose. It is the time voters always use elections to vent their frustration, to vent their anger. You see, and a lot of people, and a lot of parties will be falling by the wayside during these elections. You know, this is very, very Indian, and this is something also going to get reflected in the Jammu and Kashmir election.
All right, great points there.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.